Howdy, folks. I'm Jeff.
And I'm John.
And we are the J&J Show. And we always want to thank our sponsors, Milton Industries, which also includes Z-Line by Milton, Promax by Milton, LTI by Milton, and Steck. And we also including associated equipment with the Monday sponsoring of Amazing Women in Automotive. And
Yes.
I always say amazing women in our industry because there's another group. The Auto Care Group has a group, and that one's called Women in Automotive. I believe
Auto.
that's isn't that right, Marianne?
Yes, there is another group as well.
Yeah,
The more the merrier, right?
that's
Amen.
right. Because
We can all work together. Yes.
and we want to highlight all of the amazing women always on the first Wednesdays. And Marianne is real involved with this group. She and Tiffany is the president this year of that group. So tell us a little bit about what Amazing Women is all about, the group, the Facebook group, how they join, and then give us an introduction to Michelle.
Yeah. So this group was started back in 2021, I believe. 2021. Actually, it was founded by Malin Newton from ESI. And this group I find so beneficial because I've been a shop owner since 1999. And I don't think a week goes by that I'm on a call that I don't learn something. All of the women on there are very supportive. They're very giving, sharing, ready to help each other. So basically what it is we are actually looking to recruit women into the industry. As we all know, people are having a hard time finding technicians and even other areas in other roles in the shop, say a service advisor, and we're missing out on a whole group of people, women, and they can add a lot to the industry. So we're there to recruit and support them and get them to retain. We want to retain them. We want them to stay in the industry. So what we do is we do a weekly roundtable on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So you can do the math. That's 11 a.m. Pacific time. And it's an hour, and we stay tight within that hour. And if you're available to jump on the call, you jump on. And Tiffany is the facilitator. She leads the group, and she's wonderful. We'll talk about different issues in the industry. Maybe someone's going through something in their shop, and we'll talk about that. And everyone will, chime in and help support. And it really is a great group for women to be able to talk to other women in this industry. So that's really about the group. It's easy to get to. We have a website as well. There is a Facebook group, but we also have a website, which is amazingwia.com. So that stands for Amazing Women in Automotive. And it's like I said, it's wonderful. So I would love to introduce Michelle. Michelle came into our group and she participated, and she can, tell a little bit more about herself. But she is actually the recipient of a scholarship, and she was able to come to Vision this year. It was the first time, and we can get her feedback on that. But yeah, she is another shop owner. The other thing that we do besides scholarships, and when we're at different events, we will get sponsors to help us, and we'll host a dinner. And we'll get a bunch of women together. And the last one was a lot of fun that we did at Vision. But yeah, we've done those as well. So yeah, introduce Michelle, and she can tell you a little bit more about her.
And you also have a transmission shop.
I do. I have a transmission shop in Ronkonkoma, New York.
So New York, and that we were kidding her if that was up there by G. But go ahead and tell us, because you have an interesting story on your transmission shop. Tell us just a little bit more about how you got started into it. And I believe you were sharing the story because you started working with your dad.
Yeah. So my father opened up his first transmission shop in 1983. That shop is now my mother's shop. So my mother owns a transmission shop as well. And he opened GT in the year 2000. So he worked there for almost 25 years, well, 23, 22 years before he passed away 2 years ago. And that's when I took over. My brother and I did. So we worked there with him for a little while before he, before everything happened. I wasn't working there at the time he passed. But his plan for a while was for my brother and myself to take over. He wanted to retire, talked about retiring for about 10 years before he passed away. But didn't really work out that way. My brother and I both ended up leaving to go to different, jobs, different careers. And when he passed away, we stepped in and took over and decided to continue the family business. I'm not really a technician. I'd like to think I try, but I'm not very good. I went to a couple courses. I went to BOCES for auto mechanics, but I could do the basic kind of stuff, but I'm not really a technician.
So you're more
Well,
the
you
shop
are.
owner,
If you took the test, you took the classes, you're out there spinning wrenches. You're a mechanic.
I'm not really
better than my
Well,
busy
class.
in the office.
we talked to
Hold a wrench.
and so we heard so many stories this weekend. We had such a great time
It was a blur.
out at Vision, and we were going, and people are like, well, you did a bunch of interviews. We were like nonstop. You were there.
It was crazy.
We were nonstop. It was like, okay, we move them in. And then, in fact, with your group, we moved y'all out and moved in two more, Birdie and
Lorraine.
yeah.
Yep.
And they were sharing their stories. And it was like, oh my gosh, we got to hear your story. So this even gets better and better when you say the first shop, your mom has a shop.
Yes. Yep. My
So-
mother owns a
What is
trans.
the name of the transmission?
Hers is GT Transmissions, right?
Yep. And my
Mhm.
mother owns Globe Transmissions.
Oh, so that explains why the GT transmission shop's been lacking a lot of stuff here lately. Ah, okay. All right.
She found us because you didn't know about the J&J show until they brought you around there, did you?
Exactly. No, I did not.
And
I
she's
would-
like, What-
You guys are
wait, what did you get me into? Then we swipe,
Stranger danger.
then we swipe left or right. We went the wrong way.
Yeah, she doesn't know the half of it.
Yeah, you only knew, Mike.
But it was so interesting that they brought her in. This was your first time at Vision. So
it was.
tell us
yeah.
a little bit about that experience because, of course, you got to basically tag along with Tiffany, and then they took you over to the dinner. So tell us a little bit about that and about how you got awarded the scholarship because you were telling us that you wrote a essay.
Yes. So Tiffany let me know that they were giving away a scholarship for first time attendees to Vision. I've never been to any kind of expo, really. I've only technically been in the business. I grew up in the shop and I worked at my mother's shop. I worked at my father's shop, but I was never really that involved. I was young, didn't really care too much, to be honest.
She's still young.
Um,
Good. I love it.
So now that I own the transmission shop, I want to be more involved, obviously, and I'm trying to learn and do everything I can to be successful. So I wrote the essay, and I got awarded the scholarship. Yay! So
And
Vision was a great time. I learned so much. I met so many great people. It
Some
was
strange people.
what?
You met some strange people.
I did. I met some strange people too.
A couple guys in a booth.
Maybe
Yeah.
a couple guys in the booth.
at least one of them.
But it was
did
so
you-
fun. It's crazy how much goes on and how many people go. And it's just amazing, really.
and you were like, and I never heard of this before.
I know.
From Long Island.
I don't know how that's possible. I've heard of the expos, but I didn't know it was like that.
So when you say you learned a lot, did you take some classes?
I did.
Tell us which classes you took.
I took
I don't remember.
from creeper to leader, Rick White's class, from creeper
That's
to
like him.
I
Yeah,
t-
it's a miracle, ain't he?
yeah, he's
Gotta say,
he's
yeah,
a really
'cause that's the name of his company right there.
he's good. Yes. I also took
Remind you of a Baptist preacher?
what?
Did he remind you of a Baptist preacher?
Maybe a little.
A lot.
They don't have too many Baptists up there in the
Well, it just,
You don't. I've seen
okay. Yeah, it'd be Southern Baptist, so yeah, it'd be away from you.
I took a couple communications classes. I forgot the teacher's name. I took 10x Your Life. I took Maylene Newton's class, business and profit structuring analysis. I don't know the titles of the classes I took. I took in so much information over the week that it's all a blur. I got to go through my notes. I got to implement all these things in my shop. It's so much.
Well, a little tip I can give you when you go to big events like this. Don't try to remember all of it because you can't. Okay?
Yeah.
Find the most important thing in that class you can possibly find, whatever the teacher delivers. Grab that, what I call the golden nugget, and run with it and work with that one topic. That'll be the best outcome you can possibly get.
And one thing that John will tell you that he's learned is don't go back to your shop on Monday and try to implement everything all at once, because his guys started going, you can't go anywhere anymore because you come back and you want to go crazy.
Yes.
You take that one nugget and you say, okay, well, let's do this week. And then you look at your list and you say, okay, nobody complained. Nobody quit coming around. Let's try something else the next week or the next month. But give it a couple of weeks, and then you slowly start implementing those in, because you come back and you're like, and oh my gosh, we got to raise rates. Oh my gosh, we got to look at our price matrix. Oh my gosh, we got to look at are we doing CRM? Are we? And you're like, okay, hold on.
So
Look
I'm
at
really
what's gonna help
curious
us
now that
out.
we said this. What did you implement Monday when you got back?
Well, I started looking over our financials more so than I already do. And I am figuring out what our actual labor rate should be. But it's been so crazy busy. I'm catching up on everything that I missed over the week. So, a little bit at a time. That's really good advice.
Labor
Yes.
rate is a good first thing to change. And my buddy Greg Zell on here right now will tell you the same thing I tell you. Get as much as you can, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever you calculate it to be, multiply it by 2 and go for it.
No,
You know?
you just add a few bucks more. You'll come up with the price, and then you say, okay, well, add a few bucks more, because people don't a few bucks here,
Don't
$5 there. They're not going to stop using
Yeah,
it.
it's not going to make a difference. Well,
And-
it'll make a difference in my pocket. It's not going to make that much of a difference in theirs.
But you're able to, number one, pay your technicians right. Number two, did you go through the expo out there?
What?
Did you go through the expo? Through
What do you mean?
through the booth?
Oh, yeah, yes.
That's the expo part. The
Okay.
class, what you part you were just talking about.
The
That's
seminars.
the training part. Yeah, the training part, or the
Yes.
seminars. And then the expo is when they open up those doors and everybody piles in, and they all have their trick or treat bags, and they're
Yeah.
and grabbing that stuff and dumping it in their bags, and you're like, what are you grabbing? What are you getting? And it's like, and then there's some that go, we flew. We can't carry all this stuff on the airplane. So, but that's the part where you can go in, and of course, that one is a little different than the one Marianne will take you to. That's the ATRA, which is what you do. The transmission expo
Yes.
is different than that one, because, of course, Go Powertrain, and was Jasper there?
They should be there. Yeah.
Yeah. So those guys have some of the transmissions, that you can't rebuild or you can't get, and then
That's
you
not
reach
that
in.
they can't rebuild them. Jasper will produce it and give a warranty for it.
Mhm.
You won't have to have the headache of it.
But there's sometimes when the customer has one and that core is shot, the casing broke, or there's stuff that when you rebuild, you normally use certain items. can reuse certain items.
Mhm.
And sometimes those are not reusable. Then you're like looking for another transmission that you can rebuild. And
Mhm.
those sources, and so at those events, that's where you can find your different sources. That's where you can say, hey, which one? This one offers this warranty. This one offers this warranty. And then, when John and myself are older guys, when we used to do labor,
You're older than me, and
we
Mike's older than both of us.
we
so
would put in
I'm not an old guy. I'm young.
we would put in engine and transmissions,
33.
and nobody warranted them back then for us, other than who we got them from might have a 1 year warranty or whatever, but they never paid us a labor rate, did they? We had to include that in our price. So if we stuck a motor in and it didn't work,
Probably the same thing she does. Right?
we pulled it out.
How
But
big is
now
your
all
shop?
these guys they want to get one from Jasper or from Go Powertrain that offers to pay them some of the warranty. So it's not a total loss on our part. It's not cost of doing business. And that's where you meet all of these folks out there and you find out, hey, if you have a different source, if you have another option.
How big is Michelle's shop?
Not very big. We have 4 lifts.
One
And
four
uh,
lift and a walkthrough?
what?
I was being sarcastic. So my mic's not working real good, is it? Because I can't hear
No.
my talk sometimes.
It's breaking up every once in a while, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
what I was thinking. So you have 4 lifts. Do you have one door that enters the building, or 4 doors that enter the building, 4 bays, or?
3 bays, and then we have an outside lift.
Yeah, that's the reason why I was curious about that. And how many technicians do you have?
4,
4, including your brother, or your brother?
including my brother. Yeah.
Awesome. So do you read scanners and programming and stuff like that?
Yep.
There you go. I told you she could do it. Yeah, she's a
So
mechanic.
that would be a source out there in the expo of finding, hey, who's got the right scanner? Who has the information where we can look into these transmissions and program them? That's what the expo is all about. That's why I'm curious as to what your first time. What did you think about that area?
That was crazy. There were so many people everywhere and so many things. I got so many cards from people that are calling me, scheduling times to talk and go through demos and whatnot.
So when they scan
Even
your card, that's what they get is your information.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all.
Now this next month, you'll just have to watch your emails and you'll be like, how'd they get on? Who are these people?
It's coming.
Yeah, you'll be like
Yep.
follow-up calls and don't be afraid to say, I didn't call you. I didn't call you. And then don't be afraid to unsubscribe. When they get a couple of them, you just, unsubscribe. And then they quit sending you stuff. So you all also went to dinner. So you met a whole nother group. How many was there that night?
What
I think
dinner?
it was about 20, 25.
Mm-hmm. And you met some new folks then too?
I did. Yeah.
Why do I have to ask the question again?
That's the Amazing Women in Automotive Dinner. The
Oh,
one that
yeah, the
they-
one we didn't go to.
Yes.
Because we're not amazing women.
Yeah.
And that's how they're working on their
What?
scholarship.
How do you call that? Discriminatory or something like that? You can't be a woman. You can't be in. Well, that's what Marianne told me. Marianne said, if you can't qualify, you can't play.
So we were so excited to meet you. I'm so excited that you're still excited about the trip and being the scholarship winner. And hopefully we'll see you more at more events. And hopefully we'll be back there next year. I'm hoping that we haven't.
I was going to say, if you think that show is big, I'll see you at Apex.
Now, have you heard of Apex and SEMA?
I have heard of them. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's the granddaddy of them all.
And
Is it?
Mary,
Yeah.
and it's the largest one, and it's other than Auto Mechanica, it's that one is actually international.
Yeah.
But-
September is ASTE. Plan to go to that one. It's not as big as what you just went through, and the atmosphere is 100% different.
Because it's in the South.
Yeah, it's a really cool place. ASTE is inside Raleigh, and it's the hotel's like a couple blocks from the airport. So it's not like you need to rent a car or anything like that. You land, get you and take you to the hotel and spend your 2 or 3 days there at the hotel and go. But that's your next third largest event, I bet, maybe the fourth largest.
But
it's good.
that one's on the East Coast. So
Well, she's at Long Island.
so just
Ain't that on the East Coast, or I miss it?
No, that's easier for her to get to that one.
You sure?
Yeah, because they all come down.
It's
the
not going to
highway.
take 3 hours to go on a ferry ride to get off the island?
Yeah, they come down the. So Marianne will tell you about more about ASTE. It's down, like I said, that's in the fall.
Yeah, Malin will be there.
So yeah, and Malin will be there because that group has a big, amazing women.
They have
in
dinner
automotive.
there too, by the
Yeah,
way.
they
They
have
only
a dinner
three
Yes, there was a
three
dinner.
times a month or year.
Yeah. And so you can that would be next on your agenda. And then if you wanted to make the trip to Apex SEMA, again with that one this year, Marianne, correct me if am I wrong, it's either included or it's the same with Apex this year,
What is?
the ATRA.
Yeah, the ATRA Expo is going to be part of Apex.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's the same
They
way.
are going to have their setup there, all of their booths, and they are going to have classes and training. But yeah, they are part of Apex. And to just be clear, we don't exclude men and amazing women in automotive. What we do is we invite them in, and we've had several men come on and be guest speakers.
And if you want to hear
Thanks, Marianne.
a great story about that with Malin starting that group, go back and look at last week. We got Malin in there.
Yeah.
And he had the mic and we had 6 boxes of tissues as he explained the story of how he helped get the amazing women going, sponsored them, wrote some blank checks and
He signed checks. He didn't
and-
write checks. He just signed them.
Yeah.
There's a difference. I
Right.
know that feeling.
and gave him the credit card. And he still had a little tear right here from being the credit card abused or something. I don't know. He goes, yeah, but it was worth every bit.
Every
And
penny.
he so just speaks volumes about y'all's group. It just sounded like I said, Liz. You know,
Oh.
Michelle, you will find out real quick.
He's old,
I mess up everybody's name. And,
and I make up names, don't
yeah,
I?
yeah. Got a boot around here that got 5 guys' names on it. We still
Yep,
don't know
Adam.
we don't know who that boot belongs to.